All right, I want you to tell us the story now, why they call you the mother of Mount Hood Community College, where we are right now, because Multnomah Cable Access is located
Yes.
on the campus.
Well, I'm really proud of that title. This school is such a wonderful, fine school. It all began in 1961. I went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting. I was in business at the time. And the president of the Portland Community College, Amos DeBernardis, spoke that day. And he was a very motivating kind of a man. But he told about the community college. And I was so thrilled with it because it had a whole different approach to education, and it was new and fresh. And it was just simply this, that it recognized that each one of us is different, and that you can come to a community college and you can be taking Shakespeare, and you can be taking welding, and you can take some time and find out who you are.
And meet your own needs.
You meet your own needs, and you can come when you want to, stay as long as you want to, leave when you want to, come back when you want to, and there's no square box that says this is the way you do it and no other way. Thrilled me to death, and I went up to the head of the chamber and the Outlook publisher and Ross Morgan, who was a then senator, and I said, I will be the chairman of a committee to get a college for Gresham. And Ross said, oh, it's too tough. He said, you have to create an area education district, and it takes at least 2 years. You have to go through all kinds of legal things and elections. And he said, we'll just attach ourselves to Portland. They already have one. So I said, fine, that's fine, but if the day ever comes that you want me to, please let me know, because I could just see the value for our community. Well, 2 years went by, and I received, or 3 maybe, and I received a phone call from the editor of the Outlook, Lee Irwin, and Marv Vogel, who was then president of the chamber. And they said, well, will you be chairman for a committee for a college? And I said, absolutely. What happened? Why did we change? They said, well, Portland, instead of coming out to the east side, where there were 9 high schools and only 3 high schools on the west side, have chosen Sylvan for the campus. And that would mean our students would have to drive clear to downtown Portland, through down Portland, over to the furthest corner of the county. And that's not what a community college is about. And I said, absolutely. But I said, I'll tell you one thing. I am a woman, and in those days, why they considered women who took off on things crusaders.
We're talking about early 60s,
yes.
1960, in fact, right?
Yes. And I said, I don't want, so I would like to have a co-chairman. I'd like him to be a man. Well, I was a Democrat. I said, I would like this person to be a Republican because we don't want to get politics involved. I have further said I'd like to have someone who has been on a school board, because I had not, and there's, you have to learn some of the school ways. And so they gave me 5 or 6 names, and the Lord was indeed with me. I chose Dick Dyke. Fine man, had all those qualifications, plus he was an attorney. And we needed legal work. So it was magic from the very beginning, getting this college.
Now, you had some obstacles to overcome, though, like...
Oh, yes. Portland Community College was run by the Portland School Board, and they went so far as to say that it was too hard for us. Yeah. Just too hard for us. We couldn't do it. And also, there was a moratorium on community colleges at the legislature.
Which you got changed.
I had the good fortune, because my husband had been to the legislature, and I knew all the people on the education committee, and Betty Roberts helped me. She was also in the legislature, and and we went down during the summer to the education committee that was the interim that was meeting, and we told them our needs. Well, we just worked on that until we got them being receptive, and then we went to work, and we did it in a year.
In 1 year, not instead of 2?
No, we did it in 1 year. And one of the times that I remember so distinctly, we had worked 2 days, night and day actually, to get together a feasibility report that showed why we had enough students, why we had enough land, what our future would be, what our needs would be in the way of educating. We had put all these figures together in what we called a feasibility report. And Dick Dyke picked that up at 8 o'clock to deliver it to Salem, and after he drove away, we looked down and we realized we had misspelled feasibility.
And you sent it to Salem with feasibility spelled incorrectly.
But they didn't care.
Oh, Betty. And it all had a happy ending.
Oh, yes, wonderful,
Well,
wonderful.
we're really running out of time, Betty.
Oh.
I'm glad we got that story in, but we missed the stories about how you were the driver for JFK when he was in town.
Well, I was his chairman for his committee, and I drove him the last 2 times he was in Portland.
And you ran the Schedeen National Personal Placement Agency from
Yes,
1956
I was
to
in
76.
business. I was there 20 years.
In 1985, you were voted one of the top 10 women in Oregon by the
March of
March of
Dimes, they have a
Dimes.
White Rose dinner, luncheon every year and honor 10 women for their public
And
service.
you were right up there with Edith Green and Betty
Yeah,
Roberts.
2 of my dearest friends.
We're so lucky to have you here. And now you're still active on this campus,
Oh,
keeping
yes,
the
I
saints.
must tell you about the Neighborhood Saints. Do we have time just to tell you that there's 1,000 people who have committed themselves to supporting this college? There's about 100 who volunteer all of the time. We have a thrift store right on campus, and all that money goes to help Students Loan Fund. A student can come in and get $50 or $100 in a half an hour.
So you're still...
No red tape, no fooling around. Students in trouble are helped.
What a marvelous thing
Isn't
to do.
that? They're
Betty, I've
wonderful
learned
people.
so much. Thank you so much for joining us on I Remember When.
I love being here, and you're wonderful to be doing this.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on I Remember When. I'm Gwenda McCall. Good night.